It's
Yeah,
episode 100. 100.
100.
Episode 100, bro. Milestone. Milestone.
Congratulations to the greatest pod that ever did it.
Milestone. You know, I definitely see this as I feel like we're a legacy act.
Yeah.
We're a legacy act, and we have earned the right to be able to say that because the catalog is 100 in. That
100.
man,
100. Y'all don't understand. That's
no real breaks.
no.
No like official like okay, we're done season like cuz I'm seeing
Yeah.
a lot of that and
Yeah.
which is I get it. But like
I
we
mean,
never
shit.
really
I mean, we might have done that.
there were a lot of happenings in our lives that would where it would behoove us to
Structure
to
seasons.
take a
And,
yeah.
just like other ways to be like, all right, see you later, like installments and stuff. But
Yeah, we just weren't like thinking of that sort of part of it where it's like, oh, you know, saturation this, saturation that.
yeah,
It was
then
always
we drop like 2 pods in a week sometimes. Like,
yeah, that's so true.
no big deal.
Oh my gosh. I'm not gonna speak for you, Will, you know, but like for me, I think like I proudly can like stand behind this sort of catalog. You know what I mean? I think it's just the shit that we talked about that we, you know, each episode, it's real shit, you know? Like the real every time, you know?
And I think we can speak to like just the growth in ourselves. From episode 1 to 100, the growth, and even in some of our opinions changing because like you're uninformed on something and then you get informed and then you start just thinking, and a lot of stuff we were ahead of the curve with. Like it's I stand by it 1,000%. And y'all can't tell me nothing about it really. So
No, 100%, bro. Big announcement coming. We'll do that at the end. We'll do that at the
drum roll.
end. Drum
So
roll.
longest drum roll in the history of podcast.
Seriously. But yeah, I mean, as we mentioned, we're gonna get into our most prized topic, the heralded topic of the podcast. Made its real, like, official debut during our episode, Truth and Hoodification, and that was just like where we talked about separating the art from the artist. So we're gonna be diving into that again today, revisiting it, and yeah, see how our thoughts have changed, or perhaps they haven't changed at all. So, but first and foremost, Will, brother, how are you doing? How you doing today, bro?
Yeah, I'm a little under the weather, I think.
Really?
A little odd, yeah. I feel, like you feel like you're trying to get something, but like it's not really fully there. I might just chalk it up to allergies, but like it's just weird. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Your body's just like, yo, you should sleep a little more today, like, or just take it easy. Yeah, I'm getting
Take
that
it
vibe.
easy.
Yeah, I'm getting that vibe. So,
Also,
but
like the day we're recording this, it's a super
Gloomy as
gloomy
hell.
day and no rain.
no rain, no sun, just gloom. Like all clouds, my nigga, all clouds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have been rethinking life in terms of occupation.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, it's you just have one. You have some of those moments where you're just like, what the hell? Like, what am I doing? But
And
yeah,
just and occupations in general, like
Right.
low key, just jobs in general. Like,
right.
because we could be transparent about that. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like you can like the work that you do, right? And even like the people that you work with, but
But
at
that
the
ain't
end of it,
enough.
it's still a job. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
it's
it ain't enough sometimes.
yeah. So
Um,
yeah,
but
I get you.
yeah, but other than that, I'm straight. How about you?
Good. Yeah, I had like some recent gathering a couple gatherings with people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, and everyone's vaccinated, cool, but still, like, ah, you know.
Oh no, I didn't know if we were gonna get into this or not, but I was literally in my local supermarket, Stop and Shop,
Shout out
and
to Stop and Shop.
yeah, and I have a mask on, and when you walk into Stop and Shop in Bayonne, if you have a mask on, it's almost like you're disrespectful, and like, what are you doing, right?
Right.
So I met someone that I used to work with at my previous job, and I'm like, I see them, and she has like her two kids, and she's pretty much, I don't feel comfortable taking the vaccine.
Okay.
And
How'd you gather that?
Well, she told that this is what she wanted to talk about in the Stop and Shop, but she saw me.
Man.
Yeah, because, like, I'm a teacher, and they're like, want you to get the vaccine. Like, she's, like, whispering in Bayonne. I'm like, these niggas don't got a mask on. Like, she's like, and I got a mask on, and she's like, yeah. And then people are like, they just want to wear masks all the time. And I'm like, well, yeah, for safety. It's like, how long do you think this stuff is going to last? And I was like, well, as long as people don't want to cooperate with, the vaccine. She's like, well, I just, I don't feel comfortable. And when I do get the COVID test, I get the saliva because, I don't want it to go up my nose. And I'm trying to teach my kids how to take it just in case they have to take it in school. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like, what's the real reason you don't want to? It just doesn't. I'm just not comfortable with it.
Why are we friends
you
again?
have a good day. It was so weird. I didn't know. It was very weird. Like I'm just like, so you like anti-vax, and you don't have a mask? Like, she didn't have a mask on either.
Oh,
she's like, they make us wear masks all day in school, and then like we fight with the kids to take to keep their masks on. But then after a while, I'm just like, they're not gonna keep them on anyway. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like I'm witnessing something, and she don't got a mask on talking, and I'm just like I'm grabbing my mask, like I'm like making it very obvious that like,
oh my gosh,
I got
man.
my mask on, bro.
This has really divided people. It really has. It's crazy.
Who would have known? Like, who would have known 2 years ago? You just like la 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 la. That Trump sure is wow.
Seriously.
The country's more divided than it's ever been. I don't think it could get any worse. COVID. Trump's not even in office.
He's not even there.
And
this is a health issue. It's wild, yo. Anyway, blessings to your peer there. Whoever that is. I don't know who it is.
Yeah, blessing.
Whatever. So, episode 100. Let's get to it, bro. This is what we would call like evergreen type, right?
Yeah, this is a topic that can last, as they say, forever.
Damn. With the shaky voice. So, separating the art from the artist. Who comes to mind immediately? We know.
R. Kelly. Robert Kelly. Mr. Bump and Grind. And Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle.
Now.
Whoa, now. Okay. And for those who maybe revisit this in 2023, Dave Chappelle. By now, Will is referring to a recent Netflix special that came out, right? Featuring Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle.
Top two. There's no question.
Top two, not two?
Yeah.
I didn't see it, but he is under fire.
You missed some really good.
He's
under
fire for allegedly targeting the LGBTQ community.
Well, I'm
right?
Team Dave.
Of course you are.
If the irony in this entire thing is it is literally what he talked about in his special.
Okay.
Because it's hard to give away spoilers for a comedy special because like the synopsis is not the jokes. It's literally like what was talked about.
What he said. Yeah.
He basically said that the convenience in the trans battle is one that the privilege is always the white male, and that it is easy for them to become white males again when shit gets too real on the transgender side.
Oh, okay.
And he even talked about Susan B. Anthony, kind of like, because he talked about the women's rights movement, and how it was only geared toward helping white women, and that was, and he's not talking about the recent one. He's talking about back in suffrage when like Susan B. Anthony told Sojourner Truth she couldn't like sit at the table, and Sojourner Truth sat at the table anyway. Like it was more of a, you guys are coming to fight this argument and missing my point. And the jokes about the transgender community. He also mentioned the punch up thing and punch down thing. That he was accused of and that we talked about here. In
context, punch up, punch down comedy is looking at the privilege sort of rankings, if you will, right?
Yeah, which I think is kind of silly.
Essentially saying that, you know, people of privilege, you should not be someone who's high up punching down, right?
Right. So here's,
it can go the other way, and it's okay. It's deemed okay to do that. Yeah.
Which is a gray area in itself when you're a black male, right? And you're allegedly punching down to the transgender community, who consists of black males, white males.
Yeah. Right.
It's a weird space. And black females and black and white females. But anyway, well, I don't even know if I can call them females, right?
Well, we don't. Yeah, no. I mean, like it's women or whatever they identify as. But we don't even subscribe. We're not even saying we necessarily subscribe.
Yeah.
To
So the punch up, punch down thing. Yeah. He also talked about that and how he had a transgender friend who a white transgender friend who was also a comedian that he let open up for him, and during that time, during his like last special, Daphne, she opened up his last special, and during his last special when people were calling him transphobic and stuff like that, and she was like, she came to bat for him and was like, no, he's not transphobic, he's a great friend, he's always giving me opportunities, and transphobic people wouldn't do that. And what he alludes to is that, well, you can look at her, the Twitter page is still up. She then committed suicide shortly after defending him on Twitter.
Oh, wow.
Because she started getting attacked for her comments defending Dave Chappelle.
Wow. So
his point being, like, I did more for her as a black male than her own community did. And when it was time to support her, they pretty much put the nail in the coffin.
Got it. Okay. Interesting.
So, okay. I mean, overall, it's not like he's doing these jokes where it's like, oh, transgenders are so weird, blah, blah, blah. Like, where's the outrage for the transgender joke that Kim did on SNL? Like, to Caitlyn. Nobody cares. But, like, I think, and a lot of people who are making comments on this have not watched the special at all.
That's why I'm not
it's
really
just
gonna.
Dave Chappelle at it again.
Right. It's become the thing to say whenever he drops something. It happened last time, which we discussed. Also, what is it? Sticks and Stones. Yeah. It was around that same time.
And that was the one that Daphne defended him on.
Right. Gotcha.
And
okay.
Rest in peace to.
Yeah. Rest in peace. Damn. I didn't even know that. I didn't know that backstory.
Yeah. She jumped off a building.
Jeez. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. I don't know about that. I mean. I'll watch it. I mean, Dave Chappelle.
You should.
I grew up watching Chappelle's show. Like, I don't care for stand up, honestly. Like, just for the most part. But like, Chappelle is someone I pretty much grew up watching. Like, in particular, the seasons with like when he was going with the making the band and fucking
Yeah.
Blackzilla, all those,
Oh, and
that-
speaking of that show, he even made a point during the stand. He was like, people can't tell me I punched down the punch. Like, I've been fighting this fight longer than half of you've been alive, and like, I'm the one that walked away from 50 million. Like, if anybody can talk about cancel culture, it's me. Like, I'm the one who was ostracized, and nobody came to, y'all called me crazy. Like, so he's in a lot of ways pointing out the double standards and just
yeah. I mean,
community defenses.
something we always like hung our hat on this podcast was like the importance of context, not just short term context, but like long term. Like, you
Yeah.
know, you really have to assess if you're just gonna like say some shit. You better like really know.
Yeah.
Say some shit that's really, digging at someone's character. You know what I mean? Like,
And one thing I
it's
learned in
different.
journalism, we both did, was like, initial questions are great, but the true story is always in the follow up. Like, I can ask you an initial question all day, but when I get to like, oh, we're in a conversation now, we're in a groove, I can hit you with this follow up, and that's where the real story is most times.
Yeah, and a lot of the time, society today they
Hell
don't
no.
care about that nitty gritty, the shit that we are really.
It's all about grabbing headlines and being
Yeah.
the first to hear someone say this, but you didn't hear what was asked of them, or you didn't hear what came after that sentence. It's just all about the instant gratification of what you want the message to be. On an unrelated but related topic, there's this whole thing going around of like, no one knows what Biden's Build America Back bill is, and 74% of Americans don't have any clue. And I'm like, well, isn't that the media's job to make sure we have a clue? Like, instead of reporting on, scandalous things of like his son getting an award at this place that he's connected to, da da da. Why aren't we not getting a list of what's in the bill? Like, why are we not getting commentary on whether I agree with it or not? Let me be able to disagree or agree when the information is given to us. I remember being a kid, and there was a ton of shit that I hated to see in the news because it was so boring to me.
Yeah.
But I understand the purpose of it now.
Now, that's the thing. We don't. If the shit is boring, if it doesn't, where's the sensationalized shit that will get people into it, right? So, people want conflict. People want, people don't want like facts. People don't want
No, why?
adherence, and
The lie is more entertaining.
Yeah, the lie is more entertaining than the truth, right? That's what a lot of people say. So, yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. All right, so back into the topic, separating the art from the artist. You brought up R. Kelly. Can we do it? People playing his music, people like really just like hanging on to his catalog. Can you do it? Like, can you separate it to the point
Is it
that
okay?
yeah, can you listen to his fucking greatest hits, which are fucking endless? If you
So
strip it bare and like just don't think of like the context of it, but is that even possible? Can you strip away the like all the fucking shit that you know about this guy and still listen to his music?
It's difficult, bro. And you're almost pressured. So I don't think people nowadays can make that decision themselves, because you're almost pressured into not doing it immediately. Like, I recall, like, maybe not even be able to make my own decision on whether or not I'm going to continue to listen to R. Kelly.
Yeah.
Because my family was like, okay. Like, the judgment immediately came. If Ignition remix played, whoa, what are you doing? And then you almost feel like, all right, I won't play it then.
Yeah.
So,
because now you were
you kinda-
judging. Now we judge you, right?
right. So, like, I'm supporting child molestation and pedophilia and things of that nature, and I'm like,
And then you're a pedophile. You're not even
Yes.
just someone who supports someone, but you are the pedophile.
right. And it's like, how far do we go? Because Aaliyah's discography just got released, right? Does she not get celebrated due to her connection to it? Because her first album, he's all over it. If Your Girl Only Knew was a Timbaland beat with R. Kelly words. Like, we can't say his whole discography's dead. But when Aaliyah's anniversary comes up, yo, drop that back and forth. Huh?
Well, she's the victim here. So then the right?
But
so that would be different.
I understand that.
Right.
But I mean, it's the same thing of playing Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Cassidy did nothing. However, by association.
Let's see. That's the thing, because I remember we had this. I think it was that same episode, The Truth and Hoodification. Churches, a band that I really rock with. I love Churches.
Not the chicken.
Churches with Churches with a V.
Yeah.
Which I still don't I never got into like.
Yeah, people still do that to this day. Like, it's the V and there's like another letter that they separate with another letter. Like they substitute.
I don't know, but Churches.
More power to you.
I rock with them. And there was an instance when they did a song with the Marshmello, DJ Marshmello, right?
Yeah.
I think they did a song with DJ Marshmello, and then DJ Marshmello went and did a song with Chris Brown. And then Churches put out a statement like we don't rock with, And I just felt like, I mean, So now, in retrospect, right? So we don't fuck with her, Her. We don't fuck with Danny Lay. It's like just a never-ending list. We don't fuck with so many people. Chris Brown literally has worked with the entire music industry.
Yes.
Right? So that sort of association, like, it gets tricky, I feel like.
It just happened to him, I believe. Like, an artist just had to put out a
statement?
A statement with Chris. Yes, it was. No, it wasn't just because they did a song. It was Lizzo fanning out for Chris Brown at like a backstage event or something.
And they didn't like that.
She's backstage and she's like, "Oh my God, you're my favorite person in the world." And everyone's like, "Oh my God, how could she gush over him? Like, Lizzo's canceled." And it's like, bruh, this nigga's Chris Brown. Like, everyone, first of all, we can get into separating the artist from the art from the artist. Because Chris Brown is going nowhere. He's not leaving my Serato ever.
Well, he's a great example of this sort of topic, I feel like. Because as an artist, he is top effing tier. He's incredible. Like, he is absolutely incredible. Probably the best dancer today, I feel like. He has been for quite some time.
And it's unfortunate he can't showcase that much anymore.
Yeah. I mean, but whenever he does, he shows out. Whenever he does. And just real quick, any dance that comes out, he bodies it with his own version. I don't know if anyone notices that. Like this. It's just insane, yo.
Yo, I saw him do, I forget what video that was. It might have been Loyal, where he did like the whip and the nay-nay, but like incorporated it into the choreography for the, and it's just like, how did you do that? And you did a backflip, like in between, like
and stayed in one place.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen? All right, there's a video of him doing, and then we'll get off Chris Brown. But there's a video of him doing.
No, we don't have to.
All right, fine. There's a video of him doing a moonwalk, right? But like, and he's done it numerous times, and we know. Shout out to Michael Jackson, another potential, artist to discuss in this topic.
Let's be very clear: y'all have not canceled Michael Jackson.
No, that's right. And we can touch on that for sure.
We will.
But Chris Brown, he's on stage with like a bunch of like the whole Young Money crew. So it's back then, and then he's of course he's always like mixing with them. And then they have him do the moonwalk. And he does it in this crazy way. Like, I've never seen the moonwalk done this way. But,
he lost all, like, his pelvic
area
just, like, turned into, like, mush. And it's so crazy. And it's like, oh my God, he's the greatest dancer of my generation. Like, I'm sorry. Like, yo, whatever. Y'all niggas had to be there. Like,
right.
Oh God.
But anyway, so R. Kelly, I feel like there's probably levels to it. All right, so yeah, when it comes to R. Kelly, I feel like this is kind of just like, guys, nah, bro. I don't see the appeal in listening to his music because a lot of the information that's coming out informs us about the meaning behind his music. No? Does it not?
Right. Now, let's be very clear. I don't listen to his music. But we brought up Mike.
Okay, yes.
Because his messaging is not so clear, he gets a pass. So because the song isn't directly about touching little boys, he gets a pass. Like, and I think R. Kelly, a lot of it has been clumped into like, oh, he must have been talking about underage girls. When R. Kelly and Usher did Same Girl, right?
Same Girl, yes. With the...
Do we think Usher was the same girl of age then? Like, do we say, Usher, bro, what was you doing? Like, so I don't know. Like, I don't know how far we look into this, the catalog to go, hold on. What are we...
Well, I would hope that there was some fiction there in that song. But
I'm just asking because, you know.
Well, doesn't that conversation go back to the whole association, right? Guilty by association. That's like, I wouldn't necessarily put Usher in that sort of, because now we factor in someone like Usher, his reputation, what we know about them, because I feel like that's the real conversation about like separating the art from the artist. The fact that there's now no mystique. Mystique is gone, yo, for the most part.
Right.
It's gone.
And I believe it started with Michael Jackson being robbed of his mystique. And again, if there's any time to say, oh, pedophilia, even allegations get your music killed, Mike has not stopped. Michael Jackson's played at baby showers, birthday parties, weddings, funerals, like anywhere.
Yeah.
And in department stores, rock with you, and you hear all of this Mike everywhere. Where's the line drawn in terms of artistic freedom?
Well, so I would start with,
like your art,
yeah,
in your personal life.
Yeah. So, well, first I would start with, I'm not going to equate R. Kelly and Michael. I won't do it. Me personally. So like, I don't know how other people feel. I don't know how do you feel about that? Do you equate them in?
Well, I don't think Mike is guilty.
I don't think that's what I'm saying. So like, I feel like we start there because like, like there's a big difference. Like R. Kelly was literally just found guilty like recently.
Right, but some people still don't think he's guilty.
Oh, R. Kelly.
Like this is just it's the Bill Cosby syndrome where it's like this is a setup, an immaculate setup by the powers that be that want black men to fail. And in all honesty, Woody Allen, his movies have not stopped being played.
Yeah.
Harvey Weinstein, who has been attached to some of the biggest movies of all time, the Weinstein production company is still in business,
still running.
They're still producing movies.
And there are it's a known fact, not necessarily going to name names, but it's a known fact that there are people in the film industry who knew about his behavior and didn't say shit.
As were there people in the music industry that knew about R. Kelly's.
Exactly. So, and those people are not being necessarily held accountable, and they should be.
And there's also
that part.
And here's the issue. Here's why I think it's racially charged. And here's why I think there's more, like when a black man is accused, there's more of a defense from my community simply because of how imbalanced the justice has always been. Because if you look back at when Bill Cosby got charged.
Yes.
Homie, the dad from Seventh Heaven got caught up in some, like, pedophilia situation. He apologized. Seventh Heaven stayed on air. Like, they took it off for a week, it popped back up. Bill Cosby, they took his show off for like a year and a half maybe, and then like I think BET bought it back or like some low level network. I don't remember the name of it, but yeah, it slowly but surely started coming back.
Okay.
When we talked about Roseanne.
Yeah.
Around this a couple months later, when she said what she said and got like killed off her show.
Yeah. Spinoff right after.
Killed her, and then was like, yeah, so she died of an opioid. Like that's it, opioid addiction.
And
mind you, they had never mentioned her taking drugs ever. Like
it's just
like she took one drug and died. But
damn, yeah. Way to learn. Yeah. She didn't even have time to learn her lesson. Damn.
I guess my question is like, again, is like, how far do we go with this shit? Like, do we pick and choose? Like, as an NFL fan, I should probably stop watching the NFL. Right?
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons why I was kind of always on the side of like, yo, why do we fuck with the NFL still? Like, it's just like so clearly, like so many things against the NFL at this point, and it's like shit.
But do we punish the game itself? Like the game of football and its fun, like in its basic form. Do we not enjoy that because of the operation around it? And I think that's what you think of when I'm playing a Ja Rule song featuring R. Kelly. Like, I love Wonderful. That is one of my favorite Ja Rule songs. And now I can't even play, like, We're All Good until the chorus comes in. Like, and then it's like, oh,
yeah,
damn. So do I not enjoy the essence of the music because of the operation of, like, how the song, or just the person that made the song?
Yeah. Well, so I think it depends. So, all right, great example. And I mean, great example. And then it's my example. Who the fuck am I? Arrogant ass. Great example. Coming right up. What the hell?
Don't worry, I got you. I'm about to body this. Like,
so stupid. I take that back. That was dumb. But yo, so all right, Kanye. Early on when what was it? Shit. When he was coming out with all the shit, like he was like ramping up his like him being vocal about like, you know, politics and all this shit and being super divisive. And then what does he drop?
Pablo?
No, he drops all those albums in June, where it was for good music.
He drops Nas, and, Tiana Taylor, Pusha T, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then he also drops
and they all sucked.
He drops, no, I disagree. He drops Kanye with Kid Cudi, right? Didn't they have something?
Yes.
Kid See Ghosts or something?
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
Kid See Ghosts, I knew that was a Kanye and Kid Cudi collab. I said, no, I'm not going to listen to it.
You did not.
I did not. Yeah, and I was like, okay, because my streams equate to dollars, equate to my support for Kanye.
Well,
and
more
I
like
didn't.
Sense. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I know, but like, you know, I want to empower myself.
I get your point. You bodying it.
My listen is so key to his fucking being rich. So anyway, and then, all right, but then when it came to the conversation about Daytona, Pusha T, which I ended up, I loved it. See, that's why I disagreed with you a bit.
No, Tiana's and Pusha's albums were great.
Yeah, that's true. Tiana's was good too.
I don't know.
Nas's wasn't that good in retrospect. And I don't think he really signed off on that, honestly.
I don't either. Again,
shout out to Nas, because we love this last album.
Oh, yeah. Tell you, Day of My Wedding, it dropped, and it was great.
That's right. Yeah. But Daytona, I said, okay, I know Kanye is behind it in terms of production, but it's a Pusha T project. So I don't want to take away from Pusha T, one of my top 10 favorite rappers, and I'm not going to support him. So I wanted to listen to it. So that was the differentiation. So like those two sort of, you know, contrasts, in my opinion.
Yeah, Kanye still gets a check after Daytona, though. Like, so that's my struggle.
It's a smaller check.
No, I know, but it still put money in the guy's pocket. Like, and
I know.
So I'm glad you mentioned Kanye,
because that's he's top tier when it comes to this sort of topic. Yeah.
A lot of times we talk about these artists and we go based off their resume and their track record, right? Kanye has a very interesting track record though, because like he has this trajectory from like Black Lives Matter to mental health to MAGA to Jesus is Lord. So some people would say his only bad section is that MAGA time. And through repentance, he's good again. So most of his resume, hear me, most of his resume is on the positive spectrum. Just for a little blip of negativity in the middle.
Okay, yeah.
And a lot of these, Kanye is so interesting because he was such a integral part in so much of the people who talk the most now. If you get what I'm saying, like the Twitter generation, the social media generation. He college dropout. If you didn't relate to college dropout, you related to late registration. If you didn't relate to that, you related to graduate. Like he have all of his albums are, you can relate to coming of age for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to this point where it's like, all right, he wants to vote for Trump. Like, I feel like if he shut up about the Trump thing, like if he just voted for Trump, like he didn't vote for Trump anyway, but like if he did not hitch his wagon to him,
it would change. It would be different.
He would be completely fine.
Yeah, even what he said, the first thing he said was, if I did vote, I would have voted for Trump. It wasn't
so at that very point, at that very moment, we probably should have just been like, who gives a fuck about what he said? He don't even vote. Like, and and I think even around election time, we've stated, yo, if you don't vote, don't even bother talking about it.
You have no voice because you're opting to not use your voice. So like,
So what I think that the terrible part about this was, and a lot of Trump supporters that were celebrities and outwardly like Trump people, they didn't vote. Like, they didn't even know how. They didn't know what state they had to vote in because they travel so like. And it was just more for, I think Lil Yachty was, I don't want to put that on note, but I think it was like one of those young rappers who was like Lil Pump, and it's like, nigga, you can't even vote yet. You're like 17. Like, and it was just, I think we paid too much attention, which is what he wanted.
Yeah.
We paid way too much attention to his antics and just who he was. And then we get disappointed that we fall into his trap of like, pay attention to me, because Kanye does this frequently, every single time. And the only reason we didn't call it out before is because we kind of liked it and agreed.
That's the thing. So that is the difference, right? So now that it's come to light that this is probably just his bag of just like doing some shit for attention, right? And this is the first time where we realize like, oh, we don't fuck with it, so we're gonna call it out. Now we start to question all of his fucking actions and his antics.
Right.
So like things that came across as pure at one point, like George Bush doesn't care about black people. Like all these sorts of moments where he would like speak up for the black community and people of color and like really be about the art and really be about like just creative expression, all sound beautiful. But now it just almost, now we take it with a grain of salt. Like, oh, did you just do that because no one's really saying that shit?
Yeah.
And now, like, it's dope because you're, like, this sort of unheard voice of, like, shit that we should be caring about, like, to really express ourselves and be our best selves. So now, like, is there purity to what you were saying? Who knows? Who knows? And now we don't need to care because there are other people that we can herald, that we can fucking, care about their voice, and like, we just move on. Grown-ups do at least, not necessarily.
So
people
do
who
we
have a
stop
pulse.
listening to all of his music, or do we just stop listening up until like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy?
So
like what's the timeline?
I don't know. I mean,
Like, is Watch the Throne the cutoff? Like
I'm listening to Watch the Throne. No.
First of all, let me tell you, if I'm gonna go on record, I'm listening to Watch the Throne. I'm listening to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I'm listening to 808s. I'm listening to Late Registration, College Dropout, Graduation. I'm listening. So, here's where it gets tricky. Here's where it gets very tricky. I've heard every Kanye album since he's gone left.
Yeah.
Or right.
Right.
So to speak. And I've only been disappointed once.
Which is?
What was the one?
Yeezus?
That one before this one. No, I actually like Yeezus.
Yo, all right, because I have to say, like, I just real quick, I don't know why. Oh, I think there was this, there was a lull period where he did something really cool for the community. I don't know. And then I was like, there was a moment where I was like, I was just curious. So I played some of Yeezus. And oh my God. Shit is fire. It's fire. But again, see, but now that where it's like, oh, you're really fighting for the artist and the art. Mm-hmm. You're really just like caring about your own shit. And you're not really about the people as much as people thought he was, you know?
Right. So if I'm like, oh, this nigga's not for the people, but this smacks. Like, should I not listen anymore? Like that is the real like.
Well, remember we have those conversations about like even like Bible talk, right? Like, and the message, the importance of the message, and maybe not necessarily the messenger as much. Like maybe we just
because I feel
whatever
like
the
if
takeaway
certain
is.
music touches you, no pun intended. You like, I believe I can fly, right? It is or the greatest, like those inspirational songs done by this man who has done these terrible things. It does not diminish their inspiration to people when they listen to them.
It might for me. Yo,
for you,
I believe I can fly. You're gonna hear that and you'll be like, you won't think anything about like all the shit that you've learned about him.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I have. So what song came on? It wasn't I Believe I Could Fly. It was something. And the fucking beat was it just, oh my God. Like I'm like, oh, and then I realized, holy shit, this is R. Kelly.
Yeah.
Like but in that moment I kinda thought, shit, like I didn't even pay this guy no attention. Like if it was just the song without the name attached and I didn't know who this guy was, like,
or someone else with the same sort of vocals, and then he still kills it, right? And then it's fine.
Yeah.
Kind of like the whole argument about like Wale and people hating on him and J. Cole. But if you remove them from it and replace them with like Kendrick or whoever, or someone that people love more.
This is the greatest song of all time.
Lyrical miracles. Like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, guys.
It is. That had, if you just do that with a lot of rappers, y'all be very disappointed.
So
because
true.
What killed me was Chance the Rapper. He's so ass. This is way too popping. Like, or what was the way too positive, right?
Oh yeah, he's too positive.
But if you gave Logic the same album,
oh yeah, it's different.
Oh my God, Logic is nominated for 18 Grammys.
Right.
He's happy with his wife. Like,
yeah. Spreading positivity, right? Like it just totally takes.
Which was unfortunate is when I listened to The Big Day Over.
Yeah.
Again, after being married, right?
Okay.
You kind of appreciate it different.
Ooh, that's nice.
Because a lot of it is introspective of like leading up to his wedding day, obviously, and even that stupid ass song with DJ Khaled for like his kid, like you kind of understand
ABCs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of understand how important. He said, and I think I've heard in an interview. He's like, yes, I want to make people do like what is it? Children's books for their kids and they whatever. I want to do like a children's song, like some shit I can play for my daughter because she can't listen to my album. So if I could just throw the track on, at least she feels connected to it in some way. And I'm like, oh, that makes more sense than you just throwing the shit on there. And I'm like a 28-year-old guy, like, what the hell is this? You know what I'm saying? And I think, and when you get context behind it, you got DJ Khaled who just had a kid too, so it's like they both are entering into fatherhood. It's a happy, positive song. And I think, now that I say that, this is where we get down to the business. context of songs matter. So if R. Kelly tells me in Bump and Grind he was thinking of a 15-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Whoa. But now it's up to my imagination to think maybe he was.
Or not.
But then again, there's like male victims at this point. So like maybe he was talking about a guy. Like I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's enough fog for that song for me to be like, yeah, I'm gonna step away from that. But the entire discography, that's where I'm just like, do we kill the whole thing?
Well, you remember like there was that whole ignorant sort of perspective about like Frank Ocean when he came out as gay.
Not even gonna lie, that shit hit different.
What?
Like when he came out and you listened to like Thinking About You.
Oh, now it's
and
like
it was like
no, but like
oh, this is awkward.
But it doesn't take away from the like how incredible the music is.
Oh, absolutely.
No, but people were like holding on to that, like, oh, this shit is trash. I can't listen. It's so corny. Like, yo, how homophobic are you, bro? Like, relax. It's not even that serious.
But as someone, I'm not homophobic, but I must say, the whole like, I remember our first time and like how you feel. It's kind of awkward because like, you know what he's talking about, or
now, yeah. It's kind of like when we hear Beyonce songs, right? You know she's talking about Jay, which is kind of funny.
Right.
It is a little funny. Like I'm just picturing Jay-Z's face as she's singing. You know, like that's...
Exactly. But because we already knew that when coming in, there's no issue. I got to listen to this because I already know who she's talking about. With him, it was almost like a fake out. Like
a fake out.
Oh, you like this? What you doing?
Yeah.
Like it was almost just like a, can we trust Frank Ocean?
Can we?
Yeah. So.
Oh man. Isn't it crazy though that Frank Ocean, like, I mean, you know, because he started with Odd Future. Now he's like one of the greatest like voices of our time. Like people really like herald him super
allegedly.
high. No, they do. Whether we
no, I don't get it, but I understand. I see people. He has like this fan base that is like, yeah. I don't know where and how it happened.
It's that following with Odd Future. Like it was early on very respectable. Like, yeah.
After years, I finally understand Tyler the Creator. Like I get it now. I'm a fan.
He's dope.
But this Frank Ocean thing, he can sing. Like I don't. Like I don't get the whole like,
yo man, nostalgia ultra,
bro. Yes, but so was Trap Soul. Like I can't. There's no
nostalgia ultra.
Can't be like
special. But I get it.
Is. I get it. Trap Soul is special. Like there's a lot of special albums. Like the trilogy from The Weeknd is. But nigga, he ain't. I'm not putting him up there with Prince. Like or you know what I'm saying. I'm not sitting here with a shrine of The Weeknd because he did a trilogy. Like no. This Frank Ocean thing is kind of weird because his shit has been mid. Like his past few shit. Like I'm like, yo, he got more trash shit than he is good. Like I don't know what we're doing here.
Like, all right, well,
I don't care. Y'all get mad, but
no, it's fine.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
He's becoming well, I know now, but he's becoming like a lot of artists are really becoming like. That's why I had to call Mariah and say, "Yo, no more albums," because what you're doing is like the scales are tipping the wrong way. Like you're going from more classics than not to like trying to find a classic in the middle.
Well, I think now,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think a lot of artists, like let's say someone who's built such a loyal fan base as like Frank Ocean, like it doesn't even matter at this point. Like whether we end up liking the project or not, everyone's gonna like it. There's gonna be a lot of people who love it.
Which circles us right back to R. Kelly.
Okay.
There are people so ingrained in this nigga being their Frank Ocean that no matter what, there are people outside of the courthouse. He didn't do it. His music is amazing. There's old people who are like 70 who are just like, hey, he didn't touch me. And they're like, you hear step, side. Like it's R. Kelly playing out of every old folk home. It's so... You picking, like, at this point, you just pick and choose what you Like what you want to be outraged about.
Yeah, no,
Because
that's how it comes across. And like,
that's
yo,
really it.
but that's with R. Kelly, I feel like that's just so problematic, bro. There's too much, because that's the thing. When we know someone has done some shit, it's a big difference. Like
But
the
see,
shit,
that's
the shit needs to, like, you gotta dead it. It doesn't make sense that you would support this sort of person. And but back to that topic. I think like the takeaway here
you
is it's
can't. You can if you want to.
you can if you want to. I think there's levels to it for sure. And not everyone should be like, grouped into one bubble. But this is the result of the accountability era where there is no more mystique. There is none. Like that's something that we all have to come to terms with, is like these celebrities, they're not living like the life of a celebrity back in '04. It's and that's not that long ago, but shit has changed since then. And because of that, when we find out about shit,
Didn't Tip Drill come out in like '03?
'03? Is that '03?
The uncut BT uncut with swiping chicks' ass with a card. Like
was that '03? Yeah, see, like no, and
yeah,
and
like
then,
'03 maybe.
yeah, and then just like as the years progress, we become more quote unquote progressive in shit, like realizing like, oh damn, that's not cool that we were doing that, or that's not cool that we're saying things like that. But like the key is like when we find out about stuff from like a certain artist, we have the right to kind of be like, okay, I don't fuck with you, but at the same time to like put that on like everybody to feel the same exact way.
Yeah,
that's when it gets tricky for a lot of people.
Here's what I think. We either break it up into like two categories, right? The forbidden and like the you like two steps away from the forbidden category. If you get like R. Kelly's one of those, sorry, you're done. And Chris Brown's like okay, maybe. Like we can listen to art. Like, go ahead, we'll give you a pass, whatever. But I think like certain people are like forbidden, like Weinstein, R. Kelly, Bill Cosby. Like those people, you're just like, yeah, no, I'm good. But like Roseanne, Chris Brown, people who just, all right, you had one public mess up, right?
And it was a while. Time plays a huge factor in a lot of this shit. R. Kelly, guilty of mad shit, and it just happened. It just happened now.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
that plays a part. His name is at the top of this shit. So, like, he's definitely someone to don't even, like, look in his direction. Right. Don't even. Like, so, Kanye, like, is also...
Or we could break it up into tiers. Like, tier 1 is, like, R. Kelly. Tier 2 is, like, Kanye. Tier 3 is like the baby. like we, all right, you're teetering. The higher you get, the closer you are to us just saying, nah, you're exiled. But I do think at the end of the day, it's all personal preference.
I wonder if Kanye is seeing a therapist.
I think he see her and walk out. Like he walks in, see her, and like walks out. I don't think he sit down.
He just seems like I would hope he's seeing a therapist, but just based off of his character, I would just assume that he's not the type to look for a therapist.
I'm gonna say this: Tony Soprano was seeing a therapist once a week
from jump, right?
And
oh, that's
niggas
true.
were still getting shot. Like
no, but I'm just, but like, no, but like Kanye, like I feel like a lot of the shit that he goes through that ends up making it to the public, and it just seems like he would really benefit from it. I mean, everyone would, but would benefit from therapy. But I'm just saying, like him in particular, the things like his behavior and the shit that he says, I feel like it would behoove him to get a therapist.
And I am one of those very few people who believe that he should have stayed in his marriage. I think it was stability that he needed to an extent. Because everybody needs some type of stability, like just something. And I think that kind of I'm like divorced now, but
oh damn,
I think that like again, there was some stability there that he just doesn't have it all.
He's lost stability since his mother passed.
Right. And I think he was, at some point, I don't care what the people say, Kim bought a sense of stability. But what I think happened is she got tired of, like, having to be the only stability, like, the only stable part of his life.
Takes a lot. I would imagine it takes a lot to stabilize Kanye.
Yes. And I think it was unfair to even try to, like, charge her with trying to be the one person to stabilize Kanye. You know what I'm saying?
And talk about fairness, right? Like, remember when that whole relationship, the tenure of that, the Kardashians were getting the blame a lot of the time about, like, oh, they're brainwashing Kanye. You know, they took the whole Get Out sort of, like, image, and then they tried to, like, superimpose that.
And not one of them voted for Trump. Like, Kim was coming out like, I don't agree.
Kim is legit, like, making efforts to
social justice
get people out
like,
of prison. People who are, like, given wrongful sentences. Like, don't hate on that. You can't hate on that. So don't try to, like, find, like, oh, there's an ulterior motive. But is she getting it done? She's getting it done. You know?
Right. So. And the craziest part about it is if it was someone else of color, like...
And it's different. Yeah,
oh,
that's
my God. Like
Maya Moore.
There's a statue.
Maya Moore.
Yes.
Who I herald. I love Maya Moore.
We love her.
But that one thing where she was able to get dude out and then marry. Yeah, beautiful story. I'm looking forward to seeing there's gonna be a feature on that.
A Lifetime movie.
There should be.
Like, it's gotta be.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be the same sort of treatment, I don't think, for Kim, which is kind of a reversal of which is interesting.
But we can't talk about that. We don't mention that because that is that can't happen.
It's anti this, anti that. But we never cared. We always put it all out there.
Always.
So
shout out to the Kardashians and Kanye and them.
Yeah.
And them. That's all you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They have been a very recurring theme too, as much as all of our other topics.
Yeah, for sure.
But shout out to the Kardashians and them.
Mm-hmm. So that is.
Before we do that,
what
I must say, John Gruden from the Las Vegas Raiders.
Okay.
I want this story.
Yeah, can you provide context? Because I feel like that's what is it? What happened?
He wrote. So they found they're investigating the Washington football team for cultural problems such as racism and just money issues, like a whole lot of shit. Like they're investigating them.
Okay.
He actually was caught. Like they saw emails where he was being like super racist and misogynistic and like homophobic. All like the trifecta. Like all three of the most terrible things. Like you usually find like two.
Racist.
But he was like, yo, I don't understand why women are refereeing. Like, gay people don't belong in the league. And nigga. Like, so it was just like, yo, whoa.
Okay.
And now I brought that up to be like, yo, he felt comfortable speaking to these owners or whoever else he was speaking to. So if the person he was speaking to is employed by the NFL, there should definitely be some conversation with them, and they probably should have their job on the line as well. Because the culture of the NFL has to change. And the only way it's going to change is if you hold everybody who participates in perpetrating this shit accountable. And as a huge NFL fan, it is so hard to be in the middle of supporting black players. At this point, we have one of the best black quarterbacks I've ever seen in Lamar Jackson. Mm-hmm. And Kyler Murray doing an amazing job as a black quarterback. There are people of color who are killing it in this league. And for them to lose opportunity if this league folds because of the people surrounding it being misogynistic, homophobic, and racist, it's sad. It's fucking sad. And I think football itself is such a precious sport that the operations overall need to be fixed. He called Roger Goodell out. Like, he called him like a homophobic slur because he's now incorporating this social justice change into the NFL. So,
oh wow,
for Roger Goodell to not be popular amongst owners now, it's very telling because he wants to demand change in his organization. So, I just do NFL. You need to take this as a warning. It'll only get worse, and I would hate for this. I would hate for such a sport that's embedded in our society to lose. To allow a lot of people to lose work, who people look up to, and cause change. For the minute percent of owners and staff you got that are,
it's a handful. Yeah, for a handful of people to control the narrative of it. So that's why, like, the fact that the NFL, calls spade a spade, has all the eyes of America. Like, it really does, regardless of like something. Whatever the fuck I say about like how, like, what, I don't get why you guys watch the NFL. It's so stupid. But it's. Even I'm in the minority.
Games average 10 million people.
I'm in the minority. I know. It's just like people are going to continue watching this shit. But the issue is that right now everything is dependent on the top few, right? The owners, like ownership and all this shit, like them controlling what happens and how the league operates. When really the players can flip the shit.
Yeah.
Think of
they should have the power to.
Look at the NBA. In many ways, they did that. The NBA flipped it where players have more, like, they feel a sense of empowerment in many cases.
Well, which is part of the problem now, Kyrie.
Well, no. So now that was like kind of like them, the NBA, putting their foot down and like saying like, all right, no, this is different. This is not this is not the same thing. This is not the same thing as you being traded, like, and feeling like a pawn. This is like a health crisis, global health crisis. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, like, they can change the narrative. So like, and the NFL has the tools. They have the right personnel in terms of player representation continues to, like you said, right, continues to like show out. Like, a lot of black quarterbacks are killing it. A lot of people of color like showing out. And then you have Goodell, who's now kind of seemingly turning a corner, right? Yeah. Kind of like really making a concerted effort. And then who's the final piece that the NFL has?
Oh.
That's it. That's all you need. That's
all you need.
That's all you need.
And I think on that note, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man. So that does conclude our topic for separating the art for the artist. We kind of like went on crazy tangents, but that's what we always fucking do.
That's what we do.
So, all right. Big announcement time, guys. I don't know. Right? I gave like Congo.
That shit was terrible.
Yeah, I went Congo.
Put in the real one.
All right. So, big announcement. Episode 100 is our final episode. It is the final episode.
It's been an amazing 100.
Yo, man. This is a milestone for real.
Yeah.
Honestly, started well before COVID. I want to make that clear because that's something that I'm definitely like proud of, is like, before the whole wave of, a lot of shit ramping up. Yeah. It was like we started in 2018. We
rode the wave into the pandemic. Like, it's almost like we were destined to do this.
Yeah, so. And then we're like, all right, we kept rolling. So
Listen, a lot of podcasts started during the pandemic. A lot ended before right at the pandemic start. So for us to be here at 100, it feels great. And it just feels like the right time for us to bid y'all adieu for now and just life. Like we started this, life was much different for the both of us.
100%, yo.
And
Yeah.
life is much more demanding for the both of us.
Yeah.
Right now. And it's been a hell of a ride. We got to do stuff that I never thought we would do. We got to share moments and be people that at least for me, become someone that I kind of felt was in there, but didn't know how to bring them out and didn't know where to showcase it or what platform to put it on. This was just this came at the perfect time and at the right time in life, and it was amazing.
Yeah. This podcast has seen us grow a lot individually, yo. A lot has happened just, for us individually and then us together, definitely, our
Personal.
yeah, we're like brothers now. Like honestly.
Oh, yeah.
We always were, but like I feel like,
we were like really good, like, you know what I'm saying? Now we're like joined at the hip.
Yo, and we've talked about this off air a lot, bro. Like we've said what needed to be said. Like,
yeah. And I mean, we don't feel it's necessary to keep telling y'all the 80 different ways how we feel and what should be addressed, what should be talked about constantly, and if we leave any type of lasting notice, like, keep the conversations going. Like,
that's key.
If you gotta come back to us and like, yo, think of this episode, and because I think that's the beauty of our podcast is that, like, even 10 years from now, someone can come back to this and be like, holy shit, I never thought of it that way. Or I could, or I know how to have a conversation with someone in my family who thinks this because I saw two different sides of it or the right side of it through the podcast. So it's amazing.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, bro. I mean, the 100 episodes in, I will clearly state the purpose of the podcast, which is that it's a platform that was intending for what Will just said, creating the conversation, not necessarily starting it, and not necessarily finishing it. It's more of just about continuing the conversation and ensuring that we touch on these important things. Because, a lot of the times that we like go about our daily lives, we see all these different events happening. We see all these different like things that are being covered in the news, from whether it be local. We've gone local, we've gone national, we've gone international with like the different topics that we've talked about. And the key is, yes, we can take them for what they are and what we're taught in like journalism as like the 5 W's, right? Who, what, when, where, why.
Yeah, who, what, when, where, why.
Who, what, when, where, why, and then how.
And how.
Right. I think how is key. And that's what we always seek to address, in that how are these things happening? Like, what is driving these things to even occur in the first place? What's facilitating these events? What's facilitating people behaving the way they are? How is race? How is privilege? How is gender bias? How is sexual orientation bias? How is just straight up inequality? How is like the language that we speak? How do all of these things factor into how these things come to light, how these things happen? And we have to continue to think about things in that manner, because if we don't, then we never get to the bottom of anything. We just continue to react to things when we could be proactive and like really understand how shit is the way it is and come up with solutions. And then we end up with ultimately a better society, because now we're prepared for shit,
Right.
So yeah, like Will said,
And now we get to have personal conversations without saving them for the pod. Like,
yeah.
it is so hard not to talk about real life shit.
You and me, right?
Like,
you and me.
You and me, like I'm having regular conversations with my wife, and I'm like, let me save that outrage for the pod. Yeah,
I know. Yeah,
it's very. We get to be normal people again, and that is one thing that I don't think gets talked about enough in having a podcast is that like there is some form of you who is no longer. You're like private.
And we took no breaks. Like that's
Right.
important to note, is that we didn't really have any moments of like just like stepping away from it, honestly. And
I got married and came back. Like,
got married and came back.
Gang.
That was the first time that we kind of took a legit sort of break,
like on purpose.
Yeah, like you had that, and then I was away, and I was getting
Right.
back from my vacation as well. So like,
And no coincidence, we both decided that this the nah.
no, no.
But nah.
I mean, it's
We just thought 100 was a great bookend to a great podcast, man. Like, it's like Friends did 10 seasons.
100%. Yeah, man.
So,
like the fact that we did this for 100 episodes, bro. And that's not even mentioning the shit that is not going out.
Yeah.
There's so much footage that is not making it out.
Y'all don't understand the stems. Oh my god. Yeah.
Man. Nah,
it's gonna be fun. Maybe top of the year. I'll start from episode 1 and just.
That's so true. Yeah, for sure.
It'll be great to do, but yeah, this was a ride, and
it's been a hell of a ride.
Tom and I are still gonna have these conversations behind the scenes.
That was how it started, bro.
We're no longer your crutch. Have these conversations yourself.
100%. That was the true foundation of like, why I even like was like, oh, let's do this shit. Was like, because whenever we fucking kick it,
that's it.
That's how it happened. Like, me and Will always have these conversations. This is not fucking like just from the sake of the podcast. It was always like this, and it's gonna always be like this, honestly. So
y'all know what time it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
Well, damn. How many? No next pod, y'all.
It's till next time, But everyone,
definitely
take care. Stay safe. Stay healthy.
God bless.
And yeah. All right, bro. I'll catch you in person.
Yeah. Peace.